Hello friends, this is Shondipon here again. I think this is the best moment that I can give you the glimpse of the medical aid or medical facilities of SBI JA आप लोगों को मैं बता सकूं because at this moment I have got my leg fractured and because of that I am now sitting at home. I will be taking rest for maybe I don't know, maybe a month, and this will be counted under sick leave. I will be making a video on leaves totally separately in a separate video, but at this point I will be telling you what are the medical benefits or the medical facilities of an employee's dependent and their family, what we call it. So firstly I will be broadly dividing it into two parts. So number one is hospitalization. If you are hospitalized, what will happen? And number two, I will be telling you if you are not hospitalized. So these are the two broader prospects that can happen to someone. And let me tell you first that for hospitalization, an employee who is getting hospitalized and that person is staying over there, that person has got a serious illness. Let's say it can be a heart attack, it can be a brain stroke, it can be an accident which has taken place while commuting, it can be anything. So if this kind of thing happen and they are hospitalized, then you will be getting 100% medical facility. The total amount which is incurred, it will be given back to the employee. So this is a very I think most of the employees of central government do also have this thing, but there are ceilings too. Now this is something very important. Let's say if there are different ceilings for everything, for the pathological test, for the bed charges, for doctor charges, each and every segment there is a ceiling. For clerical, we say it clerical because SBI JA is a clerical cadre. For clerical it is something, for sub staff it is another thing, and also for the officers it's totally different. They also have got a capping, but I don't have got that knowledge because we have got this association, the union, which provides us this information, and this information is not provided by to the officers. I don't get that thing for the officers, so I cannot say this what the officers get, but I can assure you that they get totally full payment for their family members as well as themselves. So this is something which is very, very important for the whole this this hospitalization. So coming into this hospitalization, if a person gets hospitalized and that person is seriously injured, maybe that person is suffering from a disease, if these things happen, then the whole amount will be reimbursed. This is number one. Now number two, if let's say I have got this fractured leg, so definitely you may think that whether I will be getting this reimbursement or not. Well, this is something which I will say that I may not be getting this reimbursement because this has taken place when I was back in my home. I stay in my place of posting during my work, and in the time of holidays I come back home. So when I came back home, I had an accident, a minor accident, but what happened, my leg got a bit of a crack and also a fracture, and this thing happened, so it got plastered. So all these expenses which happened, this is something which is, this is also an accident and the leg got fractured. I had incurred an amount. This is what you call OPD, which we call outpatient, I think department, outpatient department. So this OPD, or when you are going to a doctor to show yourself and get yourself treated there, this is something different. You are getting affected, you are not being hospitalized. So for people who are going there for any kind of fever, let's say, or not that serious thing has happened to you, then you may not get that reimbursement. Now I am telling everything for the staff itself. I will come back to the family thing. The family thing is very clear. I will just mention you, the family thing is very clear. For family, you will get a maximum of 75% of the reimbursement. If 10,000 rupees has been, let's say 10,000 has been incurred, you have incurred a cost of 10,000 rupees, the same thing, that happened maybe to the staff. Maybe a heart attack has happened to a person who is working in SBI, and in SBI JA, as SBI JA, or let's say SBI clerical cadre, and someone who's dependent. Now I will be coming to the dependent, what is this dependent and what is the family, I will be coming to this thing. But before that, I will say that 75%, maximum 75% money will be reimbursed to the, for this hospitalization. Let's say 1 lakh, 10,000 is nothing, let's say 5 lakhs have been incurred. So out of this 5 lakhs, the percentage is 75%. So 75% will only be given to the, you will get back this 75% only. So this is something else, number one. Now there can be different kind of situations. Now let's come to another situation which can happen. Maybe you had an accident, or your dependent had an accident, but at that moment you don't have got the money. It can happen, and I think many of you may have this thing, that this, maybe you are not having that emergency fund at that moment. Maybe you have taken out the funds, or you don't have got the money. Most of the time we don't have got this money, because we have to do certain things in our lives. We have to run our lives with our salaries, so it's really difficult at that moment. You cannot take it out from the mutual fund or stocks, or any kind of other investment that you have done at that moment. So what will you do at that moment? If you are having the identity card and you go to your tie-up hospitals, if you give that card to the reception, if it's an emergency case, you and that person is a dependent, or you yourself is there, then that hospital is bound to admit that patient, and they will be treating it. You will be calling to your union member, the RS or DGS or GS, whoever it is. You will be calling to your union person, our union brothers, and you will be saying that my family has been admitted to this hospital. They will be contacting with the HR, and they will be doing all the paperwork and everything. Yes, you will also have to do the paperwork too, but they will be there to they will be beside you, and they will be helping with all the paperwork and all those things. But if it is not a affiliated hospital which is having a tie-up with the SBI, and in most of the cases this thing happens, because the tie-ups are mostly in the cities. If you see the tie-up hospitals and the tie-up pathological test centers too, most of them are based in cities, certain cities which are, I mean, you can say cities or towns. So most of the times you will not be getting, your tie-up hospitals will not be there. What will you do at that moment? This is something which is very important that you should know too. At that time, what you will be doing is that you cannot do that. You will be admitting that person. You can say to your HR manager for a loan advance. This is something which is also there. You can ask for advance, but it may take some time to give you that advance. They may process it, because at that time you are in a need of money. This advance will be, you will get it from the PF, or the provident fund, we are saying. So this is an extraordinary situation which may not happen, but this provision is only available if it is not a tie-up hospital. Now let's come to the another section. This is the medicines, whether you will be getting the money for the medicines too. Now there is another sect of, there is a sect of diseases. There are a sect of diseases which is called domiciliary diseases. Now these are actually certain diseases which are there is a list of diseases which are serious diseases. There can be cerebral palsy is one of them, epilepsy is another of them, because I am having one of the diseases, and for that reason I get that reimbursement, because that is under the domiciliary diseases. This domiciliary diseases is a recurring one. It can happen when you are at birth. There are certain things, someone may be having cerebral palsy, they may be having certain kind of impairment or disability which they have to cure at certain intervals. These things can happen, so they are recurring in nature. You have to have those medicines not once in your life, but every month or maybe every day. So there is a list of these diseases. These diseases, you will, all these diseases which will be coming under this domiciliary diseases, I will have to see the domiciliary disease because the new book that we have been provided, the domiciliary diseases have not been mentioned over there, but I will be I have been looking thoroughly into the diary which has been provided by our union, but it has changed a bit. So I will be looking into there are 23 domiciliary diseases, I hope so, or more than that, there are 2 or 3. COVID is also has also been added. So there are certain diseases which are critical, I will say. This is critical illness, or let's critical illness or domiciliary diseases. These medicines will be provided to you. Let's say there can be high blood pressure. This is also a domiciliary disease. So the blood pressure is something which is very common to everyone. So there are certain common diseases. These common diseases will be provided to you. Now maybe I have covered the hospitalization scheme. If I am missing out something, let's say pathological tests too, there are certain caps for each and every test too. There can be MRI scan, there can be there can be CT scan, EEG. For pregnancy there can be certain things. So all these things will be there. If you are a person, if you are, let's say I am a male person, now let's say I am having dependent as my wife and also my child. So they are 2 dependents of mine. Now will I be eligible to take their hospitalization if they are hospitalized? Yes, definitely. If there is pregnancy of my wife and that person normal under normal, or if it's an emergency, if it's a kind of emergency takes place, like I mean there can be certain water leakage can happen, and let's say there can be certain complications which may take place where C-section has to be applied. That can happen, maybe these things can happen. So at that time you will be eligible for that reimbursement. So there are cappings too. Now in certain cases there can be different cappings are there. What is this cap? Let's say the bed charge, I am giving you an example. If the bed charge is, let's say if you go to Apollo hospital, I am taking some names so that you can relate. Maybe 2000 is the bed charge for certain bed. Now if you are coming to a tier 2 city and over there the per day bed charge is 800 rupees or 1000 rupees. Now there is a capping of the ICU bed charge and the normal bed charge too. Accordingly you will be getting that reimbursement. This is very, very important, and all those things will be, you will get this, all these things you will be getting when you will be getting this when after you have actually given your doctor that okay, I have got this medical emergency, I have got this. We have got some empaneled doctors in our SBI. Now an emergency has taken place. What will you do? Will you go to the doctor? It's not possible for you to go to the doctor and give them that things. So what can you do? You can admit that person. When you will be applying that bill, you can give a post facto application that I have not been able to act at that moment, I was busy, and you will provide that documents, and you will also provide all the certificates, the medical certificate or the prescription where the doctor has given all these things, written everything. So you will be giving that post facto and you will apply for the medical reimbursement. This is one case. There can be another case where you yourself or your dependent. Now I think many of you are not getting this. What is this dependent? So let me just tell you what is this dependent. Now dependent is your family. What is this family? The definition of family is different over here in this context. Now let me give you the definition of the family. If I am the staff, let's take myself as an example. If I am the staff, then I am a husband, I am also a son, I am also a father. So there can be different roles of mine. So I will be totally under this improved medical scheme. 100% reimbursement will be there. With this, my dependent, who are my dependents? It can be my wife. My wife will be total dependent on me. My child, it can be a son, a daughter who has not been married, and also a son who has not been employed. So there is also an employment thing, and that is 25 years of age. Until 25 years of age, if your son is not getting employment, then till that age, that person, that your son is your dependent, or that son is my dependent. So my son is my dependent till the age of 25 years of age, and my wife is my dependent till the death. So this is something which should be clear. Now father, mother, my father and mother can also be a dependent provided the person, the now my father, if my father is not having a monthly income more than 12,000 per month, which is really very less for many people, and for certain people it may be so that they are coming from very poor strata of the society, it can happen, quite happen that. So if the family income, let's say father and mother both, the whole total income of your father and mother doesn't exceed 12,000 per month, then those person can be your dependent. And I think in most of the cases the dependent doesn't happen. Why? I'm giving you an example. Maybe let's say someone is working in a bank and his or her father has been working in a government sector. That person may be getting pension every month, so that person will not be getting that benefit. This medical benefit will not be provided to that person, because that person is not entitled to this medical benefit. They are not being entitled to be the dependent on that person. They are not dependent on them. So the father and mother case is different. Again, father-in-law and mother-in-law can also happen. If my father-in-law and mother-in-law, they are not having any kind of significant income, and that income it is same 12,000 per month, not more than 12,000 per month, then I can add them to my dependent. But in my scenario it's not that case. Definitely it's 12,000 per month is very less amount nowadays. I mean, what happens in 12,000 per month? It's very less amount. So it's very rare situation that happens, but still in many cases what happens, that maybe one of the parent has get deceased and they have now added the mother or the father as dependent. This can happen. So this is totally personal thing, I will say, but wife and your children, son and daughter, they can totally be your dependent. This is maybe clear. Now if you are clear with the dependent thing, now I will be coming to the domiciliary. I've gone through the hospitalization. So I have gone to the hospitalization for OPD or outdoor patient. If let's say my child has got certain sickness, let's say if that child gets sick, अचानक से कुछ भी हो सकता है, then what will happen? Then I will not be, this thing will not be reimbursed, because my child is not hospitalized, and definitely I don't want my child to be hospitalized. This is something which is absurd. So but that's an emergency. If that kind of emergency happens, the total bill will be, not the total bill, 75% of that bill will be reimbursed. But if I am going for any kind of outdoor patient, let's say any kind of sickness has happened to anyone of your child or anyone, then that money will not be reimbursed. This is something which you will have to take into your mind. So this is something which I feel is which not also covered under health insurance schemes too. So now again, many people takes health insurance as well as this medical, I mean, let's say the SBI also provides this medical benefits. So if you are taking health insurance, the health insurance will, this health insurance this companies will make sure that you don't take any kind of reimbursement from any other places. So you will have to make it clear to the health insurance companies too. This is something which is very important. So I will say it's better for your parents, if you are having parents, they are aging, maybe let's say they are 55 to 60, take health insurance for those two people, because health insurance is very expensive nowadays, and it will get expensive with the days to come, because the health sector is getting more and more advanced with days, and it's also getting very organized. Now definitely they are getting aged, you are also getting aged, and you know one medical thing, and I know also that one medical cost is really burdensome. I mean, this plaster which I actually had, I mean, this took a huge toll on me too. This is a small plaster, but I just went and just 3,000 rupees gone in a day. So see, the medical cost is just so high. So this is something which everyone can actually understand, that medical cost is getting very high, and also the medical the medicines too. So make clear this of these things, that you get these things. Okay, so now apart from this, are there any kind of other medical aids? Because I think the video is getting bigger. Another medical aid is there, which is this is something which is very exclusive. Everybody will be getting this medical aid, and that is the annual medical aid. This annual medical aid is nothing but, let's say this is the lump sum amount which is being provided to the employees, to to the employees, so that if certain kinds of, let's say I was saying that this OPD you have got, for OPD you have taken certain medicines maybe, so if these small costs are board, you have borne, you have been burdened with this costs. So at that moment, one annual medical aid will be given to you, and this medical aid will be provided just once in a year. That's a lump sum amount, will be, I mean, it's, I think 2000 rupees, nearly 2000 rupees I think. So it's just one time you will be getting, and this is for everyone, every employee, irrespective you go to hospital, you don't go to hospital. That is something which is there. Spectacles, for spectacles you are also, this is something which is new, as we know that we have to work in front of the screen for long hours. So everyone wears specs, most of them, I think 90% of the people wear specs in who are working in banks. So there is a spectacles reimbursement too. If you are buying a new spectacle, and you will have to show to an ophthalmologist, and then you have to, so that you get the power, how much power you are having, and the kind of lens you will be have to make, and then you have consulted the doctor, you have got for this thing, the chashma. So you have bought a chashma from maybe Lenskart, from Titan Eye Plus, anywhere, you get a bill and you produce it. So there is also a ceiling for that too. If you are now buying 5000 7000 rupees spectacles, you will not be getting that. There is a capping for that too, so you will be getting this specs too. Okay, apart from there, if someone is having diabetes, you need glucometer, so you will be getting full cost of this glucometer, irrespective of whom you are. It can be your dependent, you will get that money too. If you are having that diabetes, then also you will get that money. So these are certain things which are exclusive. So I think I have covered most of them. Domiciliary disease, this is something which I will be I will look after, so that I can give you better view of this domiciliary, the list of the domiciliary diseases. I will have to take out this domiciliary, because each and every year we have got new union diaries, and for that reason the diaries have got certain amendments and changes which takes place. Certain circulars comes, and definitely certain circulars are edited, they get edited. So these are certain things which I think is very important. I have covered most of the part. I have covered the hospitalization part, the domiciliary treatment part of both the employees, and also the outdoor patient one. So both the employees and also the family members. For family members or the dependents, you will only get the hospitalization one, the outdoor patient will not be provided. But if you are during work, let's say you are working, and during work if certain things happen, if certain mayhem happens, at that moment you will get that, because you are at that moment, you are working, you have gone to work. This fracture which happened during my holiday. If this would have happened, if during my work hours I'm working and this kind of mayhem happened, then I could have claimed for that reimbursement. So this is something which I think you may have cleared. If you have got any kind of doubts, if you want any other kind of videos on any kind of other topics, please do comment over here. If you have seen the video till this end and has bored with me, then please give a thumbs up to the video, because it takes a bit of energy for me to make this too. I'm really very upset because of this fractured leg, and also my family has come to me and they are supporting me at this moment. So for that reason I am not being able to make more videos in regular intervals as I have actually promised. So I will not make a promise for that reason. If you want videos on leave, then I will also make video on leaves too. That is something which will be totally separated. So please do comment over here anything you want, any kind of other videos. And do please people who have actually got this SBI JA 2023, if you have received the message, the mail, then please do comment over here, yes I have got the mail. I will be very eager to know when you have received the SMS or the email, official mail, and please do notify over here. Thank you. Take care of your health, be healthy, stay safe. Bye bye.